Hey there, it's Derek here from Pacific Coast Auto in Japan. We're looking at a Nissan Leaf from 2020. This one here was bought from a dealership here in Japan. Yes, we can buy from dealers here in Japan to have it shipped over to New Zealand. Now, of course, you can buy anything like this from the auction if you want, but if you want a quicker sale, you can browse the dealers. You'll usually pay a little bit more than at auctions, but there's a little bit less of a question mark on the condition because you get a lot more pictures of it. Now, something this new, a 2020, there's usually not going to be a ton of damage on it. I will say, though, that dealers are not always the most honest. Some of them are going to be fine, some of them are going to be a problem. More of them are fine than are a problem, but that's one of the risks about not going with auction. Okay, now I'm going to take a look at the condition of the car. Just going to switch it off here. Yes, it is a full electric car, and electric cars worldwide are a little bit hard to find these days because there's a lot of demand for them, especially in North America, and there's not a lot of supply. You're waiting a good long time to get most electric cars, or you're paying over suggested retail price for them. So it could be a good idea to import something from Japan, where electric cars are a little bit of a fad here, but not going to take over the same way that they are in other countries, simply because we don't have the infrastructure. Very, very few people live in houses like this. Almost everyone lives in an apartment, and apartment owners are slow. I don't know of any of them that have electric hookups. Definitely not mine. Okay, so this one, I don't really have a lot of information here to go off. Yes, it's okay for YouTube. It's going to New Zealand. Okay, let's do a once around. I'll show you any of the damage that I did find. We don't have an auction sheet to go off of there, so just had to search for it myself. And there's not really a lot of damage. There are some scratches on this side near the door handles, and I'll point those out in a second. This, I believe, is the second generation Leaf. To be honest, I don't know a ton about the Leaves. Leaves or Leafs? I don't know. The first gen Leaf was a brand new thing when I first came to Japan in 2006, or shortly after I arrived. I don't know when they first started. Was it 2007, 2008? But I remember it kind of coincided with my first few years here. This generation looks like, well, pretty much any other modern car nowadays. Electric cars, I guess, nowadays don't look too much out of the ordinary. For the first few years of electric cars, it was like, we have to make this car look in a certain way to get the people that want the quirky electric cars. But these days, it's just people want electric cars and they don't need some sort of a gimmick like that. Okay, so paint condition is good. It is a 2020 car after all, so this video is going to be a little bit shorter than most. Zero emissions badge there. Okay, have to let everybody know that. There is a small scratch here. A few small scratches in here and right there. Same thing goes for inside here. And that's basically it. The rest of the car is fine. Okay, so let's have a look at inside the trunk. I shot the last report and I forgot to show the inside of the trunk. So I want to make sure I don't forget that here. Easy to put stuff in. The trunk opens nice and wide. Plenty of room, which is nice to see because a lot of these electric cars take up space because of the big battery packs that otherwise don't need to be taken up from the regular cars. I think battery packs on average are a little bit larger than fuel tanks are. Look underneath here is a little bit weird. You got nothing. Kind of weird. You can fold these seats down. They have tethers on the back, as pretty much all modern cars do. Little compartment here if you don't want something rattling around, and it is compartment size. You also don't have a tonneau cover on this one that would normally sit on the shelf there. I don't know if it was an optional thing or not. Okay, close that up. Let's go into the back seats. Back seats are a little bit higher than the front seats in terms of seating position. Door cards, pretty standard. We have a cup holder down here. This is a padded fabric, which is a little bit nice. Okay, teeny tiny little windows because it's a modern car, and that's always the case. It helps with crash safety. Oh, and I must say, quite a dark tint on that window. Kind of gives it a streamlined look between the window, this black plastic here that feeds into the spoiler, and tail lights that look like they came from the school of Fair Lady Zed. Doors open nice and wide. Even though they are a fairly narrow entrance, it's easy to get in and out of, and plenty of space for a family of 5. I don't think you really need much more than this. I drive a minivan. We very rarely ever use it for minivanness. Except we've got 3 kids, and fitting 3 kids next to each other, it can be a little bit tricky. Okay, nothing folds down here. You have chargers here. Both of them are old school USBs, which are still used pretty commonly, and so that's not too bad. There is a new style like USB 3.0 at the front. Smells like a new car. That's nice. Nice to smell. Kind of a weird thing to say, isn't it? It's nice to smell your car. Okay, front doors almost open a full 90 degrees, which is a little bonus. Again, easy to get in and out of. Fairly normal looking door cards. I don't really know what to say. Everything, I don't know. To me, new cars seem to always look like new cars. And I'm not sure if it's because I'm so used to seeing old cars, or if it's something that's actually fundamentally changed, and that like every car kind of looks like the next car. Maybe it's just my experience. I don't know. Okay, so it's drive-by-wire because it's an electric car. You usually won't get a steering shaft in most electric cars these days. Same thing goes with the pedals. And the pedals on electric cars always feel a little bit weird to me because you're not actually stamping on a master cylinder that's stamping on brakes, so you don't get that tactile feel in it. But it does regenerate your electricity back into, or your brake heat into electricity, which is a little bit nice. Heated steering wheel, also heated seats. Also, mosquitoes can die. Crash avoidance, something. It probably slows your car down. You can turn it off if you want, but in all honesty, most of the time you're going to want to have that on. Steering wheel has no wear on it. Dashboard has no damage or no sticky marks. This tablet-like screen, let me just show you this. I changed it to English. You can change it to Japanese if you want. There are only those 2 languages. No mosquito, you can die. Wow, there's 3 more that are in here. Flat bottom steering wheel because they want to be sporty and fun. Cigarette lighter adapter here. I tried to check to see how many times the battery was charged, but I don't actually know how to do that. But it currently has 112 kilometers left on the range, and 12,047 kilometers you saw there. 120 kilometers of range. 43% of the battery is used up. Okay, this feels fun, like an iPad. Ooh, look at me, I'm shifting. I'm in park. Cup holders, because electric vehicle owners still drink, at least for now. Okay, I like the blue stitching on the seat. That's quite nice. And down there is nice as well. I wonder if they're ever going to make a Toyota Land Cruiser electric, or if the Land Cruiser is just going to go away when internal combustion goes away, or will it last forever? I love Land Cruisers, and I'd like to get an electric one if they ever made one. I don't know if they would, though. Okay, so that's probably enough of the interior. Let's switch the engine, or the electric motor, or the ignition off. I don't know what to call it. You get a simple speedometer plus a screen. Okay, let's pop out. Oh, I just turned it on, I think. Off. Okay, now when you go in reverse, it goes boom, boom, boom to let you know you're in reverse, which is kind of cool, and it has a little bit of a sound when you go forward, but not a ton. It is an electric car after all. Okay, so that's all we have here. Just about 10 minutes on the video. Hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day.